we embody our free, flowing energy that evokes a spirit of curious adventure. We choose to walk in faith each day, looking for ways to give back, remembering that love always wins and waters us for growth, creating a safe space for ourselves and anyone we meet, never taking ourselves so seriously. Living out loud our legacy through genuine actions towards our biggest visions and bringing out the good in each other and those around us.
Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. Oh my gosh, can you believe that there's almost around 30 days left in 2020? And I'm doing this special podcast for you today. It wasn't actually something I had planned, and I bumped one of the other podcasts so you could get this in a timely manner. But I just finished my own mapping and planning and strategy session for 2023. And I have to tell you, I am on fire for next year. And as I started doing this for myself, I thought how fun and impactful it would be for me to share on the podcast the steps that I use to do this. Because what I've learned is expansion, growth, and accountability have been proven to be at their highest level when collaboration is involved. So isn't that cool? We can kind of collaborate together on this podcast, and you can learn my method and you can try it out for yourself and see how that makes a difference for you. Because I have this intuition-led process that I've been using for years, and it really allows me to key in on my deepest priorities for this season of my life. And once I can develop those priorities, I can fully integrate my personal life, business life, play, and personal growth in a way that feels super aligned and in flow with my highest self. So I'm so excited to dive into this podcast with you today. So without further ado, let's just go through the steps here. I actually wasn't sure how many steps there were just because it's such a natural flow normally. And it looks like it's about 7 steps. So I wrote them all down. I didn't want to miss anything because, like I said, it is really an intuition-led process. And so it's just really flowy for me and fun. And I really like to tap into my creative side. I like to put out paper and note cards and use markers and drawn color. I'm a visual person as well as a speak out loud and do it person. So writing it down versus just doing it on the computer or some planning strategy software is really helpful for me to be able to not only create the vision, but then embody it. So the first step is actually just that. So it's taking myself through a guided meditation, reviewing all of my successes and lessons, which yes, lessons too, those little challenges that we've had during 2020. So taking myself through that and really reviewing what I'm proud of myself for and what were the successes, what did those look like, and taking some time to free write in my journal afterwards. Now, when you take this step, you are just going to be amazed. This is also something that we did in the high-level mastermind that I joined this year. And we had our final retreat a few weeks ago, and I did the same process there. And it is just so amazing, how much we've grown, learned, accomplished, done together in 2022. And I know that you're just going to be blown away by that. But I don't just want you to sit down and force yourself to write it. Do a little guided meditation around visualizing kind of your highest self this last year and the things that you've gone through and how you felt, really evoking those feelings, because that's how you really ingrain it in your body, ingrain it in your subconscious to really build that confidence to step to your next level of growth, your next level of business, your next level of relationship health, whatever it is that you're going to be striving for 2023. So that's the first step. Now, the second step is one that is often skipped over, and that's reviewing your values and your beliefs in this season of your life. Now, you probably are thinking like, isn't that the same thing? But it's actually a little bit different. So values are our guiding principles that really provide clarity in our life. And then beliefs are the reason we do things the way we do them. And so what do I really mean by that? Well, I thought it would be fun to give you an example of a couple's value statement that Joel and I wrote together. We did this as part of the couples mastermind that we joined earlier this year. And it was so fun because we both sat down and we wrote out things that we believed that we valued individually and we valued as a couple. And then we came together and we put it together, making action words out of it. And this is a process that I walk my clients through and that we go through during Flow Academy too, when we're really defining our values and beliefs, because oftentimes things change. Now, our values over time don't change as much as our beliefs do. Because with beliefs, you have three options. You can hold on to them, you can challenge them, or you can change them. And again, values really talk about what do you want to do with your life? And beliefs are really like, what do you want to experience? Or why do you want to experience what you want to experience? So let me read to you what we came up with, and let's see if you can pick out any of the underlying values. So this is the couple's value statement that Joel and I have. And as part of the mastermind, they framed it and printed it out for us. So we have it up on our bookcase. And it says this: we embody our free-flowing energy that evokes a spirit of curious adventure. We choose to walk in faith each day, looking for ways to give back, remembering that love always wins and waters us for growth, creating a safe space for ourselves and anyone we meet, never taking ourselves so seriously, living out our legacy through genuine actions toward our biggest visions, and bringing out the good in each other and all those around us. Isn't that beautiful? I know. I haven't read it for a minute. Actually, I mean, it's up, and when you go through something and then you put it up and it's like, okay, that needs to be taken down. We need to put that somewhere else. We need to be reading that each and every day. How are we living that? How are we showing up as our highest couple self, if that's a word, each and every day? And are we embodying those words that are so important to us? And some of those guiding values, if you could pick them out, are things like faith, curiosity, service, love, play, and growth that Joel and I just really value individually, but we also value as a couple and really challenge each other to uphold those values. So that's step 2, review of your values and beliefs and really getting those down. The third one is another, I know this is getting a little woo-woo, but this is the intuition part, because here's the thing. You could sit down and you could white knuckle and you could plan and you could run numbers based off what you did this year for next year, and you could strategize it. But what you're going to miss out on is the nudges. What you're going to miss out on is the downloads and the guidance that maybe you're supposed to shift, or maybe you're supposed to go all in one area. And sometimes things don't make sense. Sometimes we are being asked, we are being called for this new purpose, for this new season of our life, and we can't yet see the end result. Now that is faith. And sometimes we have to take that and we have to start incorporating that into our planning and strategy mapping, even if we can't yet see the end result. And emotionally detach from the outcome, but show up every day in that energy. And that's what this step 3 is really doing a guided meditation, some deep breathing, and really envisioning your highest self and envisioning what you're going to be doing, what are you going to be wearing, where are you going to be going, what are you going to be eating, who are you going to be around, how are you going to be serving, what is that going to look like, how is it going to feel, all of those things. And then really journal that out, journal out that dream day. Now, this isn't just okay, dreaming for like, 50 years from now. This is like, we're talking about next year. So don't make it like something, just a small goal that you know that you're going to reach. Make it a stretch. So you don't know exactly how you want to get there. But in this visualization, you can feel so strongly inside of you, that inner knowing that this is the area that you're supposed to be going towards. And then take a minute, and after you're done with that highest self visioning, really write out some dreams that come through. And you can do them longer out than this if you want. But what I do and what I like to do, because sometimes things can change and I want to be available. I don't want to be too rigid, especially with my human design as a manifester. It's really set up to be more in the flow more often. And when I can get knocked out of alignment is really when I'm trying to be too rigid or too planful, then it actually breeds more inconsistency or less flow or less alignment if I'm being too rigid. So I like to do like 5 years out dream, 2 years out dream, and then a year dream. And dreams are not goals. Dreams are something that you can feel so deep in your body. You know that it's fucking meant for you. You're ready to go for it. You don't exactly know how you're going to get there, but you're going for it and you can feel it so deep in your body. So that's number 4, writing out your dreams. Another step to this that you can take that I actually do every year. And I think in January, I'm going to be doing an in-person vision board and intuition-led vision board and planning strategy session here locally in Miami, which I'm super excited about. More to come on that if you're listening and you're in Miami. But the next step is really planning out on paper. So this is more of the tactical. So based on all of that divine guidance that we just received, based on all of those feelings that we just evoked in our body and the excitement and the inspired action that we're meant to be taking, not just white knuckling and hustling, right? Because it's what we've always done. Maybe we're shifting. Maybe we're going all in on one thing. Maybe we're doubling down on something, whatever it is. Then you want to plan it out. And I actually have a blueprint, a paper that I have set out that goes over and it reiterates what my core values are, my purpose, my deepest priorities. So what are my deepest priorities like as a human? And so I'll give you an example for this year for me. So my deepest priorities for this year were continuing to develop my spiritual relationship. That's been so key to me, my success, my growth this year. It was also really focusing on my relationship with Joel and how I was showing up and cleaning up my side of the street and making sure that not only did he know by my words, but my actions, that he could deeply feel that he was a huge priority in my life. Then also my health, always striving for just thriving health, because I know that if I'm not taking care of this vessel that I have been given, that my calling is going to be way ahead of me and my body is not going to be able to keep up. And then it's always my opportunity to serve the women that I serve and provide the transformations that really allow women to have the clarity and confidence and inner peace that they need in their life to live a life that they're just in awe of and feels good to them. And it's just so wonderful. And then my family and friends. So those are my deepest priorities. And I was really clear on that. I made some decisions this year based on those deepest priorities. One of the things I was thinking a lot about was, am I making this decision because it looks good on the outside or feels good on the inside? And it's aligned with my deepest priorities in this season of my life. I made a lot of decisions based on that. I know I canceled a whole event that people had bought tickets for, kind of like short notice, because someone really close to Joel passed away this year, and my deepest priority was to be there for him and support him versus hold the event. So sometimes you have to make tough decisions like that, but they're really based on your own individual deepest priorities. And yeah, that might not have looked great on the outside, but damn, it felt good on the inside to show up for him in a way that he shows up for me, because our relationship is so important to me. So that's just an example. So as you're planning out what your deepest priorities are, And also what are your non-negotiables? Like I have some daily non-negotiables that I just don't waver on and that are so important to me. For example, I do have a morning ritual every single morning. And while it could look a little bit different, but it's always focused in deep intention on a few minutes of prayer and meditation and journaling and intention setting, along with hydrating my body with water. Like there are some daily non-negotiables that I just do not waver on. When Joel and I are home together, we have a daily non-negotiable of dinner together, even though we often don't eat the same thing. And we talk about our day. We celebrate our day. We celebrate our opportunity to serve and how we made a difference in the lives of others and how we can support each other for the next day. And it's just so important because it keeps us so super connected to each other and the work that we're doing. So what are your daily non-negotiables? And then you want to go into things like your focus areas for your business, for your career, because we can do so many things. And if you're like me, I used to try to do them all and I would do them all really, really good. Really good. I mean, I was good at them. But guess what? I was never great because I never would allow myself to go all in on something for fear of failure, right? What would I look like if I didn't succeed at that? But we know now that failure is not really a failure. It's just a lesson. It's like you succeed or you learn and you keep moving and keep growing and being able to push yourself into uncomfortable and have things not work out and have that emotional detachment from the outcome, but still feel so deep in your body that you're meant for this thing that you're doing. So I want you to really look at that and look at what are your focus areas. So for myself, it's really easy because I do have a vast knowledge in many areas, and it's really easy to get off course because I know that I can help people with so many things, but I also know that my calling and my gift is speaking and leading women to design a life that they freaking love and having the confidence and clarity to do that. And I do that through this podcast. I do that through my one-on-one coaching. I do that through Flow Academy, our holistic life coaching academy for leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs. And I do that from speaking on stages and corporate workshops. And that's it. It's like rinse and repeat. And while on the in-between, there's so much more that I could be doing or I could be diving into, this is me walking in my purpose on purpose every single day and being so laser focused, which allows me to not feel overwhelmed, which allows me to stay in flow, which allows me to listen to my inner knowing, to be intuitively led because I'm focused. And so on this blueprint, which there will be a link in the show notes, if you just want to download the blueprint and just like go at it on this part. It also includes writing areas down for your top 3 personal goals and top 3 professional goals. And then it gives a 2023 calendar at a glance. And so you have the calendar and then it's broken down by quarter. And then you have your key initiatives that you're going to be doing each quarter. And this isn't meant to fill out every single line. It's meant to focus in on only those needle moving activities that are really aligned with your purpose in this season of your life based on your own deepest priorities and your calling, your impact to serve. Okay. And then the last one, there's like a weekly planner that's included with it. So once you plan it out, then I want you to take a minute and I want you to write out in your journal and give thanks and declare these things done over your life. So for 2023, one of the things that I've given thanks to God for allowing us to do is allowing us to live debt-free and save enough money to put a substantial down payment on an investment property. And I declared that done. Like that is done. And we have done that. And I know that that is a direction that we are going. And so you write it down like it's done. Flow Academy is going to help over 100 new students next year. It's going to transform the lives of those entrepreneurs, those leaders, and those aspiring holistic life coaches who then are going to make a ripple effect, a huge, massive ripple effect in the world by being the one to show the world how great life truly is. And that is done. I know that to be true. So you write these things down and you embody it and you feel it, and you write those down every single day. And again, there's not going to be like 5,000 focus areas. There's no possible way that you can focus on one thing. And here's what I want you to remember when you're writing down these key metrics and these focus areas and these KPIs. And KPIs are simply key performance indicators. So an example of a key performance indicator, sometimes in service businesses like life coaching, it's a little bit harder to come up with really substantial key performance indicators. But the ones I like to use are conversion rates, audience growth, of course, across like multiple channels like email, website views, social media, all of that. And then lastly, revenue growth. So year over year revenue growth. And you could calculate the percentage, just subtract 1 and then multiply by 100. And then of course, lastly, the thing that I always keep track of is the number of lives that we've transformed for the year through group coaching, through speaking, through one-on-one coaching. And those are some of the key metrics. But the reason why I share that with you is that I want you to obtain data and metrics because it shows where you're making the biggest impact. Because sometimes we get so wrapped up in what we're doing that we just keep going and going and going. And if we're not looking at the data, like then we could be like going down the wrong way. For example, something that we did during the launch of Flow Academy this fall was we offered a masterclass called Uplevel Your Inner Circle and Make Friends with Successful Women. And that was one of the most attended masterclasses that we've ever done. And so it just goes to show that people want that information. And where that came from really is I attended so many in-person events over the last couple of months, and I heard that over and over again. But in my community, in my neighborhood, in my circle, I don't have women like this that are growth-minded, that will support me and challenge me. And so I was just teaching how to find that, how to do that for yourself, how to be the one. And prior to that, that was only something I talked about occasionally. So you'll hear me talk a little bit more about that because it's so important to have a community, especially as women. We're not meant to be doing this alone. And like together, we can all do more. But going back to obtaining data and metrics, I want you to use that only to measure volume. Only to measure volume, not value. So data and metrics do not have anything to do with your worth or your value. And I want to be really, really clear on that. And that's only going to come if you can emotionally detach from the outcome. Okay, so we planned it out and then we reviewed it and we wrote it down, we declared it done and we gave thanks, and we do that as often as possible in our journal throughout the year because that's how we're really going to embody those feelings and be so intentional and focused on where we want to go. We're not fucking forgetting. We are going for it and we're taking inspired action each and every day. And the last part, and this is something that it took me so long to learn, is having an accountability system for getting this done. So each year I pick some sort of new accountability system for reaching my goals, for being able to be growth-minded, for stretching me. Someone needs to be able to take off my blinders, call me on my BS, and challenge my thinking because sometimes I just cannot see, and the same goes for you and everyone else. So some sort of accountability system. For me this year in 2020, I joined a high-level mastermind. For next year, we have put together a group of just high-level women that are going to be masterminding together. And I'm also looking at investing in a coach next year for a couple different areas of my life. That will be towards like April or May. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. And so for you, maybe it's joining a community group. Maybe it's getting together with a growth-minded friend and being accountability partners. Maybe it's doing something like joining Flow Academy when it launches this spring. Maybe it's going to in-person events. Maybe it's joining a mastermind, hiring a coach, whatever it is. And start speaking your dreams out loud. Start speaking them out loud. I've seen time and time again. I remember this one time I'm speaking on stage and I'm having women write their dreams, and they shared with the person next to them. In that moment, that very moment during my presentation, There was a dream realized in that moment. One woman said, I am a practitioner and this is the service that I want, but I just don't know where I can go, like where I can rent a space or collaborate with other like-minded women in order to bring this service to the world. Next to her was a woman that was opening a holistic wellness center and was looking for practitioners. And right in that moment, a dream was realized. But if she never spoke that out loud, if I didn't get that nudge from God to have the women do that, that would have never happened. And so you have to speak your dreams out loud. You have to have some sort of accountability. And I want to offer that to you. So with this process that I just talked about, if you're feeling really called to this process, and this seems like something that you really want to do with your personal life and your business, I've decided to open up just a few days between now and the end of the year to support anyone who feels called to join me and feel the same level of integration, expansion, and alignment as you step into 2023. And so I only have 5 spots because I don't have a lot of open availability. But if this is something that you're interested in, you can click the link in the show notes and you can sign up. What you're going to leave with is your 2023 Intuitive Strategic Plan Blueprint completed through a 60-minute intuitive Zoom call. You're going to also get a ticket to the Slow Your Summit, which is hosted by my friend Candace Hickman. It's on December 3rd. You do not want to miss this. I'm going to be speaking about that because if you know me, I'm all about never rushing, taking a moment to be present in the moment, lingering longer, doing more, or doing less. Experiencing more. You'll also have a 30-minute accountability Zoom call with me in 2023 because that number 7 is like you have to have that built-in accountability. And when we do your 60-minute intuitive strategic planning session in the end of the year, you will also have access to me through Voxer for the rest of 2022 for feedback, for questions, for tweaks, for if you need extra like little guided meditations or anything like that. And there's only 5 spots. So I just have 5 spots available. But really what I've learned is that expansion, growth, and accountability have been proven to be at their highest level when there is collaboration. And I know I'm so excited about this work. And so I want you to be so excited about next year as well. And I want to lead you through this process so you can step into 2023, not feeling like you have to do it all and hustle, but feeling like you're so inspired and aligned and purposeful. And you have a plan, yet you're separating from the outcome. And each and every day you're taking inspired, aligned action that is bringing so much abundance, so much clarity, and so much freedom to your life that you could never even imagined a life like this is possible. So if you're called to that, then click the link in the show notes and get signed up for that. Other than that, take some time, review all of your successes and lessons from this year, and really start dreaming, really feeling into and visualizing what you want for next year. Put pen to paper and then get going. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. I am so grateful for you. If you know someone this episode could benefit, please just text it over to them, share it with them, and I will be back and see you next week on the podcast. Bye.